Global finance is changing. The dollar isn't what it used to be, and the West system's being challenged by a multipolar one. BRICS Plus is emerging as one of the driving forces behind these changes. And the colossal economic influence the bloc enjoys today was first forecasted over 2 decades ago.
We consider 4 different scenarios for the next decade based on various nominal GDP assumptions for 11 countries, the G7 and BRICS, and different assumptions about exchange rate conversion. In all 4 scenarios, the relative weight of the BRICS rises from 8.0% at present in current US dollars to 14.2%, or from 23.3% to 27.0%, converting at PPP rates. In each of these scenarios, the increasing weight is led by China, although the other 3 grow relative to the G7 countries also.
Funny enough, Goldman Sachs first came up with the term BRIC as part of what Western bankers considered a great opportunity to cash in on the profit-making potential of emerging economies. But Russia, Brazil, India, China, and later others like South Africa ended up taking matters into their own hands. In the decades that followed, the BRICS economies exploded, surpassing G7 countries in GDP and purchasing power parity by 2018. BRICS has since widened the GDP gap with a 5% lead over the G7. And a lot of that success has to do with the bloc's new development bank. It was created in 2015 to help emerging economies fund infrastructure development projects. Now, it's essentially become a multipolar alternative to the IMF and World Bank that may soon even have its own version of SWIFT.
We believe the creation of an independent BRICS payment system is an important goal for the future, which will be based on modern tools such as digital technologies and blockchain. The main thing is to make sure that it is convenient for governments, ordinary people and businesses, as well as cost-effective and free from politics.
Although the new development bank serves a similar function to that of its Western equivalents, it's far more democratic. No one power can veto decisions. The bank's presidency rotates among member states, and the chairman is chosen through elections. On the other hand, the World Bank is directly controlled by and headquartered in Washington.
As the only World Bank Group shareholder that retains veto power over certain changes in the bank's structure, the United States plays a unique role in influencing and shaping global development priorities. Traditionally, the World Bank president has always been a U.S. citizen nominated by the United States.
What else sets the new development bank apart? Instead of controlling its members with debt, the bank aims to promote cooperation between its emerging economies.
We have been working together for almost a year on the issues that concern us in the first place. In particular, the creation of an independent international monetary financial system and, above all, an independent system of payments for goods and services, because we see that this area has become politicized recently. BRICS is different from other associations in that this organization is beyond politics, beyond any pressure and restrictions. It is aimed at growing the economy of our countries and increasing the incomes of our citizens. Therefore, when we talk about free trade and the free movement of labor, services, and investment, we understand that the appropriate tools must work for this.
Offering the world an alternative to Western currencies like the dollar and euro is one of the new development bank's primary objectives. And the bloc's working towards that goal, among others, by promoting transactions in national currencies.
By promoting transactions in local currency, we also facilitate investment growth, help governments and private sector overcome cash flows mismatch between project and financing. This approach provides great predictability and reduces the high costs associated with hedging needs. The bank is putting in place local currency sustainable development-oriented platforms and recognize the urgency of making green finance available to the member countries. Therefore, it aims to provide 30% of total financing local currency of borrowing members.
Iran's even in talks with BRICS to merge the bloc's payment system with that of Tehran's.
Various options, including Iranian ones, are under consideration to connect the financial markets of the BRICS countries, transfer settlements to national currencies, and introduce new mechanisms of mutual settlements.
This proposal comes not long after Iran merged its Shatab payment system with Russia's Mir. It's all likely stressing the West out, as their sanctions aimed at destroying entire economies appear to have only united them in multipolarity. When it comes to the new development bank's loans, they have very few strings attached, in stark comparison to the austerity conditions the IMF and World Bank impose. For developing countries, the better option is very clear.
When the time comes, Mr. President, to borrow money, please borrow from BRICS. We have a very important role to play in BRICS. We have to use BRICS. BRICS has a very important role to play, and it is here to stay. We are partners. We have to use BRICS. I'm aware that we have borrowed money from BRICS, if my memory serves me well, in the past. But we should continue to use BRICS as a viable alternative, as opposed to IMF and other institutions. Right? We should use BRICS.
The people of countries like Ghana, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Argentina, and Kenya have all suffered under the boot heel of IMF loan conditions and have been protesting against them. The conditions for Western money are nearly always the same: austerity and invitations for vulture capitalists to exploit the target country's resources. Luckily, the more BRICS grows, the better an alternative the Global South has to debt slavery by the West.
Want to come up with the discussion of the use of digital currencies in investment developments by BRICS member states inside the group, and also in the interests of other developing and emerging economies with good prospects. And we are to come up with a toolkit that will be under the supervision of the respective BRICS institutions.